This is a big deal. Indiana governor we talked about. They've already called Mike Braun, the senator, one of the two senators in Indiana, as the winner. He will be Indiana's next governor. AP called the race at just about 7 p.m. That is a big deal.
That is the moment the Central Time polls closed in Indiana. They already knew that he was the winner.
And it's so interesting because this was a state that there were some questions whether the Democratic candidate, being a former Republican herself, Jennifer McCormick, a former educator, could maybe make that race closer, make it interesting, maybe even flip that state. And Mike Braun, who him and his running mate had some controversy in recent weeks, it seems like they put those doubts to bed.
In any other election, this would be absolutely no surprise. But you're right to point out that this one was, at least perceivably from the outside looking in, almost up for grabs.
It was, and it was one where you saw how much money some of the national Democratic organizations, Governors Association, they were putting into this race. They were fundraising hard. They even had Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear in Indiana just last weekend to essentially, show his support, endorse, cross state lines. You don't see that too often. So he wouldn't do that unless he felt like this candidate had legitimate chances of at least making it close.
That's why I think the whole conversation should be had at some point again tonight about the Andy Beshear effect, because you're right to point out that's not something that you would typically see is a governor endorsing a candidate in another state. It's certainly a border state, and the fact that he was likely asked to do that in this scenario speaks to the different level of stature that he has on a national level as a result of his potential positioning as a vice presidential candidate.
Governor's races can be a little different too. Like, for example, Andy Beshear is the governor of Kentucky, a deeply red state. Governors can win based on just showing up. They can show up for communities. You know me, you know what I've done for your community, and that partisanship doesn't always reflect. A lot of other positions, like, say, Senate, it's not the same thing, which is why there was some thought that maybe Indiana, a solidly red state, could go blue for governor. But again, didn't happen. Mike Braun, he's a known name. People know him, and he's getting the nod there.